Jessica Fortis, and I'm doing my master's at the moment, so I'm sort of looking at the lived experience of local foodways in 2 case studies in rural KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa. And yeah, I think I'm using the term food ways because I'm not really only looking, I am looking, but not at what people are eating and where it's obtained from, but also the social and cultural aspects to that. I have some ideas when I go in, but more sort of seeing what themes sort of arise from what people feel are important to these food systems. So, I'll say culture and I'll say social, but really how they interpret that. And so my background was through environmental and geographical science, sort of from undergrad, but I also studied philosophy, so I have that sort of different perspective coming into it, because philosophy is very much about an argument and looking at this possibility and that possibility and trying to understand both perspectives. I definitely find when I'm in the academic field, you challenge a lot sort of to speak about scientific and back up what it is. So I think in that way it's been interesting because I have started to look at GIS and satellite mapping and sort of seeing how it speaks to what people are saying and where it doesn't work. Why the satellite is showing there to be grass when people are saying that there's no grass. So that's interesting, and looking at those two, I'm really enjoying how they can work together. Go in and you want to change people's lives and help them, and you definitely see that there is things that would be nice to do, but obviously as a master's student I don't really have those capacities to do those things. So I think, at this stage it's sort of showing how strong these systems are. Then I wanted to go back and I want to have sort of a meeting and a meal with everyone and sort of present my findings and let them sort of tell me if I portrayed it in the correct way. So we did a walking tour as like part of sort of getting an understanding of things. And the first walking tour we did, I was like, okay, we need to go into the bush, and it was very intense, of course, and we were chased by this like giant rock monitor, and there was amazing things, and we were shown all of it. And then the next walking tour was with a sort of an elderly lady, and she just went along the main road, and there were as many wild foods, more wild fruit that people were eating, and we were just pointing it out and showing and taking photos. And just like that one walk along the main road had so many things that people ate. Important for me to talk a little bit about my positionality in this research, because I think it's a huge thing and definitely a limitation to what I do. It was definitely something that I had to grapple with, of how to deal with. And I don't think that in the end I did it perfectly, because it's almost impossible to do it perfectly when you do have a positionality where I do, where it's so separate from the culture and that. And so I think my strategy of sort of dealing with that was, firstly, I had a translator that was a young lady a young woman from the community, from each community, and so she did the in-person translation. But then I also recorded it and got an external person to translate it for me and to transcribe it for me. So I was able to really look and hear the exact words of the people and use the words of the participants as much as I could in my writing up of it, so that I really tried to capture what they were saying instead of putting my own understanding onto what they were saying. A lot of going in, going back, thinking about it more, trying to see the perspective, reading, speaking to people, and just really like acknowledging it in every sort of stage in my research, thinking about it, acknowledging it before I start writing, I think was an important thing.